What's good, everybody? It is your boy FiveWarsFam. Annual birthday video here. I am turning 27 today. I have done a 25th birthday video, 26th birthday video. This is my third. I think I'm gonna put this all into a playlist if you want to go and listen back to these. I understand only like 20 to 30 people, if that, watch these videos, because I mean, it's not Solomon Daniels. Ain't nobody getting that yay yurt. You know what I'm saying? There's no interceptions. We ain't got to worry about Doug James today. But I do these videos just to, even if no one else is watching, even just for myself to listen back to what I have learned over the past year of life. So I've just completed 27 years and I am walking into chapter 28. That's one of my pet peeves. People are like, oh, chapter 27 gonna be good. Like, no. Chapter 27 just closed. It just closed. That's why you're turning 27. You weren't on chapter 0 when you were born. You were on chapter 1. So I am entering chapter 28. Anyway, speaking of Solomon Daniels, I am currently out of town. I don't have my PlayStation here. So you will not be getting a Solomon Daniels video until sometime next week. I'm sorry about that. I really tried to get another video out. I really couldn't do it with work and everything, which I'm about to talk a lot about my job, because the three things that really stand out to me from the past year have to be holding your tongue, patience, and obedience. Holding your tongue, patience, and obedience. Yo. When I made my 26th birthday video, I had no clue what was ahead for me. I had no idea what God had in store for me, no clue, okay? I think if you were part of the FiveWarsFam back then, you probably remember me doing videos of me talking about, hey, I'm moving, you know, I gotta deal with some stuff. I had a lease that was ending and no place to go. Transparency moment. I had a lease that was ending and no place to go. Luckily, I was able to stay with someone for the time being. I was not really working. Like, I was employed, I was under contract, but I wasn't necessarily working. Well, that was because I had told my bosses, if you remember, I used to be a sports anchor in Knoxville. I had told my bosses that I was not going to renew or extend my contract with them. I wanted to go elsewhere. I felt like I was getting a little bit stagnant. I felt like I was starting to plateau a little bit. And when you plateau, you know, plateaus are just flat. So I wasn't getting any better. I wasn't getting any worse. But to me, more importantly, I wasn't getting any better. And the moment you stop improving, you become stale. And when you become stale, people don't want to watch you. So I refused to become stale. I was like, dude, I'm not going to do that. I wanted to go somewhere and I wanted to be challenged, and I wasn't necessarily sure where that was going to be. And because I didn't know that, I, obviously didn't have an apartment to move into. So that was pretty tough. So the channel obviously was still here, but there was no content dropping for like a month. I did a channel update. Only so many people watched that, but while I was staying at someone else's place, that is actually when Solomon signed to the Broncos. So that video took place, like, I was able to manipulate hookups and equipment to record that, and then I had to unplug everything, and then I moved down here to Tampa. Now, I'm kind of skipping stuff to be able to just be like, yeah, I live with somebody else and I live in Tampa. So let me rewind and let me fill in the blanks with the three themes that I mentioned. Number one, I was holding my tongue. Why was I holding my tongue? Because there were a lot of things that I wanted to keep to myself. And there are going to be things in life that you just need to keep to yourself, man. Like Stephen A. Smith recently just said journalists only report like 25% of what they know. And he's right. That's something I can talk about later. I'm thinking about doing this series called Tales from the Press Box, where I address things in sports media that happen in sports media. Things are always going to come up. Things are just going to, come up. And I think I just want to comment on those whenever I can. Stephen A. is right. And the theme of that is holding your tongue because sometimes there is no benefit to getting this information out. If you were to say something out loud, is there a benefit to that? Yes or no? And a lot of times the answer is no. Most times, the real deal is you're gonna get a negative consequence from opening your mouth and talking too much. I don't know anybody that's ever talked too much and gained from it. I've only seen someone talk too much and get away with it. But more times, often than not, they talk too much and they, boom, it's a detriment. They lose all kinds of things. They lose respect. They lose credibility. They lose their jobs. They lose their families. I mean, crazy stuff, right? So hold your tongue. So I held my tongue about a lot of things that I was really feeling because it wasn't necessary. And I really wanted to tread carefully as I was transitioning into a new chapter of life. So, held my tongue. I was obviously able to communicate and be transparent and say, hey, I really don't want to extend my contract here. And they understood. So we were trying to work out a deal for me to go and transfer. I like to use the word, I don't know why I like using sports terms. I was saying trade, but transfer to another place within my company. So during that process, man, I interviewed with so many different stations. I'm not going to necessarily give out the names of all the stations. Just know that I could have ended up covering like the Panthers, I think the Browns, the Vikings, the Bengals, like all these different places. These are the different teams that I could have ended up covering. But what ended up happening was after these interviews, I felt no peace. None. I felt zero peace about where those places were. They were either too far from home. I didn't like the way some things might have been set up. I didn't like the exact description of the job, you know, whatever it was. There was one spot where they were really interested in me, and I felt like, okay, it wouldn't be a bad place to go, but do I really want to go? I mean, I guess, you know, maybe. I felt no peace about it, like, at all, dude. None. I remember looking up apartments, you know, ahead of time. I hadn't even been offered the job, but I just kind of wanted to get ahead. I'm looking up apartments, and every place I saw, I hated. I was like, dude, I don't like any of these apartments. I had a full-on breakdown. Like, this is a full transparency video. Every birthday video is fully transparent. Dude, I had a breakdown in my car at a gas station. I hated every apartment I looked at, and I'm like, I cannot live here. I don't feel like God is even calling me to this place, but everybody is telling me it's a great place to go and I should go. And I really didn't want to go. Well, I was obedient, right? I didn't try to jump the gun. I was obedient to what I felt in my spirit, and I didn't say, hey, I want this job. They ended up taking the job off the table, not because I did something wrong. They took the job off the table because they realized they didn't have the resources to hire somebody in their sports department. They had a dire need in their news department. So that was their main concern. This was, to me, a sign that I really wasn't supposed to go there. And the Holy Spirit was right. I was not supposed to go there. Well, this whole time, and I'm talking about this is back in like 2019, late 2019, 2020. I get this feeling after doing some research like, yo, I really feel like I could go to Tampa Bay. I think I would really enjoy that. Everybody knows I'm a Falcons fan, but I don't hate the Bucs. I don't. I have no disdain in my heart for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've always wanted to cover hockey with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And look, the Tampa Bay Rays, they are what they are, all right? They went to the World Series a few years ago. That was cool, but hey, they're here. You know what I mean? I just saw like, man, I really feel like I could go to Tampa Bay and just, boom, I could just grow, man. It would be like a crazy growth spurt, just blossom. And every time I asked, they told me they weren't hiring. Every time. It was like, we not hiring. We ain't got no spots open. Well, crazy enough, God told me, he said, I need you to fast, man. I need you to just shut everything down around you. Don't read nothing but this book. It was a book, Pat Summitt, the legendary head coach. Only outside entertainment you need to be having is this book by Pat Summitt. That was it. You only gonna be listening to gospel music, Christian music. You only, you're not gonna play no video games. You're not gonna whatever. You're not even in a spot to play video games. All my video game systems were packed up in bags at the time. So I fasted, man, and I was obedient, right? I was obedient, and I was patient. Two things happened at once. I was patient. I wasn't really sure what was going on. Like I said, I was doing all those interviews. I didn't really like it, but I was staying patient. I was staying obedient. I fasted, and everything God told me to do, he was like, at this time, you're going to do this. And at that time, you're going to do that. When you get this interview, this is what you're going to say. I mean, it was like every single step. And the reason why the fasting was important is because I knew whose voice was speaking to me. It wasn't my, conscience just being like, hey, man, you should do this. My conscience has told me to do some really stupid stuff. Okay? I've listened to my conscience before, and I've done stupid things. I knew who was speaking to me, and I was obedient to it. So boom, guess what, y'all? I'm in Tampa Bay. I am covering sports in Tampa Bay. I just covered Tom Brady's last season. You better not come back from retirement. You better not. I know Tom Brady not gonna watch this video, but you better not unretire again. I ain't playing with you. Just covered Tom Brady's last season in the NFL. I got to cover the Stanley Cup final. How crazy is that? I was there when the Colorado Avalanche won. I wasn't very happy about it, but I was there in the house when the Colorado Avalanche won. And I've just been able to be around so many people that I look up to. I've met Tony Gonzalez, Richard Sherman, Greg Olson, Kevin Burkhardt, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. I've been able to be in the same room with those guys, and it has been amazing. And that was because I held my tongue, right? I wasn't going to run my mouth, so I wasn't, setting myself up for failure by just babbling away. Then I was patient during the process where I didn't know what was up next. And then when it came down to it, I was obedient to exactly what God was telling me. So all of those things factor into how I ended up in Tampa. Now that I've been here, the same thing remains, right? I can't come down here and think I'm just gonna be the man, right? That's not fair. That takes time. You wanna build sources down here? That's gonna take time. You wanna have relationships with people? That takes time. Those things take time. Everywhere I've been, whether when I was at Georgia State covering sports, when I was in Knoxville, right? I was in both spots for at least 3 years. That third year, flourish. Of course, because I had been there. I had taken the time to develop relationships. People knew me, right? People knew me, and because I worked hard, something that I've talked about a couple years ago, when you work really hard, you put your head down, and you work hard, and you protect your peace and protect your energy, and you pursue your purpose relentlessly, people recognize the good work, okay? I would go to Target. I remember going to Target in Knoxville, and this lady shouted my government first and last name. She shouted my government first and last name across the store. And she ran up to me because she wanted to talk to me. People would stop me and ask for selfies. I'm not trying to glorify myself, but I'm saying that some of the things that happen with time and good work. So I can't come to Tampa and think that's going to happen. I mean, it obviously has not. Nobody's asked me for a selfie while I've been down here. But that's fine, right? Like, I don't need people to do that. But I can't come in and think, man, I was the man in Knoxville, I'm about to be the man here. Day one. That takes patience. It also takes obedience to the people I'm working with. And really working under. I have managers, right? I have managers, and they teach, they correct, and they help me out. And the Bible says in Proverbs, a fool despises wisdom and instruction, or knowledge and instruction. A fool despises knowledge and instruction. And I ain't gonna be no fool, man. If someone is taking time out to give me some knowledge and instruction, I am not going to be a fool and ignore it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. And I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna try to apply it. And if I really feel like it disturbs my spirit, then no. But at work, there's not too many things that really disturb my spirit. So the patience and obedience is still something that I work with. And again, can't go running your mouth, right? Got to keep holding your tongue. That's pretty much it, y'all. That is pretty much it. I really believe that if you can apply those things to your life, you can go far. I really, really do. This channel has been monetized over the past year, so that was a blessing. I totally skipped over something really huge. I had a one-on-one exclusive interview with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know why I skipped over that. He also signed a jersey for me. So like, I don't know why I skipped that, but that's also happened in the past year. So many awesome things have happened for me in the past year. I'm also making way more money. There's that too. That comes with a new job, right? All of that from holding my tongue, being patient, and being obedient. Y'all, that's what I got for you for my 27th birthday video. Solomon Daniels coming back next week. Got the Packers at home. Probably getting traded at the end of the season. I'm pretty sure that the Broncos are going to hit the reset button and trade Solomon, because you can't build a team around a safety. It's just not a thing. So hopefully he goes to a contender. Maybe not. Who knows? I'll try to do that Tales from the Press Box thing as things become relevant. And then we'll see if that, I don't know about necessarily take off, but we'll see if that kind of, hits, if that strikes a chord with anybody. So that's what I got, man. That is what I got. You are loved, you have a purpose, and you are awesome for being part of the Five Wars fam and sticking with me through the past, 17 and a half minutes? Yeah, appreciate you. It's your boy Five Wars Deep. One love.